Agarwal. My partner's name is Ritu Gupta, and we are currently working under Dr. Swapna Purandre, who is a visiting faculty at IIIT Delhi. We both are students of IIIT Delhi too, and we are going to present the poster on the topic investigating resilience of a plant pollinator network in a tropical urban ecosystem. So let me walk you through each section. So first we will go through introduction. So basically, plant pollinator interactions are mutualistic in nature. That is, like the insect pollinators depend on network and pollen from the plants for food, while also plants rely on the insect pollinators, for reproduction via pollination. So insects get benefit from plants, and also in turn plants gets benefit from insects. That is, mutualistic interactions are happening between plants and insects. So basically, this type of network is bipartite, and it is composed of many such interactions between the plants and the insects. And these interactions only exist between two distinct non-overlapping sets that are going to happen between the plants and insects, and not are going to, like in a network, not we haven't shown interaction between the plants themselves or between the insect themselves, but only between the different sets of plants and animals. So our goal is to explore the consequences of random and targeted attacks, removal of hubs on the network. So basically, we are going to attack a particular set of plant nodes randomly, and also we are going to target other hubs of the plant nodes that are targeted tracks. And after this, we will study the change in network properties such as degree, density, diameter, size of the largest cluster, assortativity, etc. from the original network structure. And after, the second stage will be after removing these plant nodes randomly or by target. So we will also study that if this network follows the scale-free or random network property that scale-free or other random networks follow. So it will help in understanding the stability and resilience of this plant pollen network after the attack. So in the data section, we have collected over 500 images of such plant-bee interactions, which consist of 30 plants and 26 bee species. And it was to create a bipartite plant-bee network in our IIIT Delhi, from a IIIT Delhi. So some network properties that we have written in the further sections, I am going to explain them in brief. So clustering coefficient is the measure of the degree to which nodes in a graph tend to cluster together. Degree density is the portion of the potential connections in a network that are actual connections. That is the number of connection edges in a graph divided by the total number of connection edges possible in the graph. That is NC2. Assortativity is if high degree nodes tend to attach to low degree nodes, then the network is called assortative. Else it is disassortative. And the largest cluster size is number of nodes in the largest connected component in the network. So now basically degree is the number of connections a particular node has. So now Ritvik will walk you through methodology, results, and significance.
Uh, so, so we used the data set that was provided, and we created an adjacency matrix where the rows are the plants and the columns are the bees. And a black dot indicates that there is a connection between a plant and a bee. Then in figure 3, it is observed that we have visualized the plant bee network, and then based on further analysis we have drawn results and significance. So the first result was that after we performed targeted and random attacks on the ppn, uh, we found that it takes just 5% of targeted attacks on the nodes to disintegrate the whole network, and on the other hand it takes over 80% of random attacks on average to disintegrate the whole network. So we can say that the network is uh, uh, highly vulnerable to the targeted attacks. So then we found the assortative coefficient of the network, and it came out to be 0.47. And the negative sign indicates that the network is disassortative. And this the same property is observed in several biological networks. Then the next observation was that we removed one plant node at a time and observed the properties, and observed the change in the properties. And average clustering coefficient in degree density reduces the most when the plant PY0011 is removed, which is also the plant with the highest degree. But contrary to this observation, we found that there are some properties like the size of the largest cluster and associativity, which do not follow the trend that the highest change in the highest drop in that particular property is due to removing the node with the highest degree, because the nodes, the highest change was observed in PM0020 and PS0022, which are not the hubs in the network. Uh, then the significance we can draw from these observations is that we can say that the PPN is highly vulnerable to targeted attacks, while it's quite robust to random attacks. And uh, it is also visible in the figure 6. Uh, in the graph we have plotted, this same observation can be observed that the targeted attacks, the under targeted attacks, the size of largest cluster drops very fast. Then negative assortative coefficient explains that when a new bee species is introduced to a network, it would prefer interacting with a plant with lesser degree rather than a plant already having a higher degree or which is a hub in the network. Then we can also say that highest degree plant need not necessarily affect the network level properties the most, and that was also observed in our third result, that in the properties of assortativity and size of largest cluster. Okay.
Now I am going to walk you through intellectual merit. So basically, insect pollinators play a vital role in the sustainability of ecosystems by pollinating and regenerating flowering plants. We all know that, okay. And also, however, we have seen that insect pollinators are declining rapidly due to human-induced factors such as the use of pesticides and change in land use. So basically, our research will be going to help to find out particular patterns between the interaction between the plants and species, and we are going to use the network analysis approach as we have seen here. Like we have found out certain properties to help find out the unique interactions between such plants and bees, and these findings can also be used to design strategies to conserve the pollinator species and the plants they pollinate. So we can save a particular set of pollinator species on the plants by saving a particular plant. Like we can find out patterns. Also, in the future, we are going to explore more at other network properties such as robustness, interaction strength, specialization, degree of complementary specialization, etc. And we are also planning to increase the size by including more set of plant nodes and pollinators to create a more complex mechanistic network. Also, we are going to study the cascading effect of extinctions in the network. Like after a plant is removed, and then which bee is affected, and after that bee is removed, which plant is affected. Like this type of cascading effects, we are also going to study, and we give our acknowledgements to Dr. Sapnar Purandre, who is our faculty, who is also who has also a Ramanujan fellowship, and also IIIT Delhi. Thank you for listening to our
Thank
poster
you so much.
presentation.